All right, listen, there's a lot of decent women out there. I know a lot of us, we get fed all this stuff with like that women are trash and all stuff. Yes, there's a lot of delusional women out there, but I'm starting to notice from my experience and from my perception that there's actually a lot of decent women out there that actually are able to think and can see reality in a way that actually makes sense. I realized this here yesterday evening. I'm in my parents' city for the next 36 hours. And on the train ride back, I sat next to this woman, and I always like to, challenge myself and open up and speak to women whenever I get the opportunity because practice makes perfect. Older lady, attractive still, she looks very good for her age. I sat there and I was quiet for a few minutes. And I was like, you know what, fuck it, let me just break the ice real quick. And then we got into conversation, and as we're talking, I'm like, this lady has intellect. She actually understands the world and sees things how we see it and sees how fucked up the world is and how everything that we're being fed is a load of bullshit. And I've been having a lot of these different experiences with just different females in general, whether I'm seeing them or just speaking to them. Like, they're actually decent. They actually can think, and a lot of the stuff that we see that's being propagated and shown to us isn't necessarily true. But I think this starts to happen when a man starts to, develop himself and, sees the bullshit that women do put out and sees the men that put up with the bullshit, and you learn from those men's mistakes. And what that causes is that you don't put up with that bullshit, because whenever I see bullshit from a woman or anything, I'm not putting up with it. I don't have to do that. It's not that deep. There's too many of them out there, and there's only one of me, right? And it goes back to, placing value on yourself. When you place value on yourself, they see that, and they see that they can't come with the bullshit, because if they come with the bullshit, they're gone. So when you develop yourself and when you start to understand women a bit more, you start to attract the better ones, and you start to have great conversations with them, and you start to, keep company with ones that are a lot better than what you've dealt with before. And it comes through trial and error, and it comes through, learning and making sure that you're not, falling back into the dumb traps that you were once in, back in the day. You can't keep repeating the same mistakes over and over again. You have to keep developing yourself, keep understanding things, and keep seeking out women that are decent, because when you seek them out, they're right there in front of your face. Instead of having that perception that all of them are bad and that all of them are out to get you, and all the negative stuff that we see on the daily, instead of looking at that and taking that perception in and making it your reality, you can also make the reality for yourself that there are decent women out there. Excuse me. I've been doing a lot of that, telling myself that there are actually decent women out there, and every single time I speak to one, or let me not even say that, 8 out of 10 times when I conversate with a woman or keep company or anything with a woman, they're actually decent. They can think, they're intelligent, very smart. They make me think sometimes about certain things and, see things from a different perspective. And, for me, I appreciate that. I always like a challenge. I like something. I don't mean like a challenge like you're gonna challenge me. I mean a challenge like as in on an intellectual level, where I can, think from a different perspective, see another person's point of view. But no, man, there's actually a lot of decent women out here. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. It's like the more you develop yourself, the more better you get, the more decent women you can attract. It's a two-sided game, because again, the better you get too, like there's always leeches out here and women, that will play you and fuck you over. But if you understand the bullshit that they can put you through, and you understand the manipulation and all these small games and things, you won't deal with it. They won't be invited into your reality. It's the same for me. I don't deal with women that give me bullshit, that give me a hard time, that want to fuck around and do dumb shit. Like, you're not going to be a part of my world, because I like peace. I like women that are around to, help a brother out. You know what I'm saying? That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. I also think the reason why a lot of men aren't running into decent women is because they're not decent themselves. You're not good enough, to be honest. That's plain and simple. You're not good enough to meet decent enough women. When you make yourself good enough and you think of yourself as good enough, then they start to come around. And when I say that you're not good enough, I don't mean like as in a self-worth kind of way. It can be in that way too. If you look at yourself as bottom of the barrel and you look at yourself as a person that just, you know, you ain't it, then you get what you are in a way. So the best thing to do is to start developing yourself, start to raise your self-worth, start to have an understanding of the world, of reality, you know, create your own reality and just make things beautiful and make life beautiful. That's all you can do for yourself. You feel me? So there's a lot of decent women out here. You just gotta work on yourself, work on understanding women a lot more, work on understanding the world a lot more, and you know, change your perception of them, because they're beautiful creatures. There's a reason why we have the masculine and feminine dynamic and things of that nature, and you know, when you start to understand it, you see that it's a really beautiful thing, and it's something that you can use to your advantage and you know, create a lot of different beautiful memories and just a beautiful life for yourself. Last time, there's a lot of decent women out here, beautiful, decent women. You're just the one that has to change your perception of women, and you have to stop letting social media tell you how to think of them and create your own perception of them. But also be aware of the bullshit, of course, because it's been exposed, but it's not something that you want to like look so deep into, because if you start to entertain that and make that your reality, that's what you're going to attract. You feel me? That's it for me in this video. For one-on-one consultations, links in the bio, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. Enjoy the view.